I want to play a clip for you that's cryptic and ominous. This is President Kennedy in 1963 discussing U.S. strategy in Vietnam. Now, keep in mind as you're listening, Kennedy was escalating in Vietnam his entire time in office until his assassination. But see if you catch any talking points here that sound familiar.
President, the only hot war we've got running at the moment is, of course, the one in Vietnam, and we've got our difficulties there, quite obviously.
I don't think that unless a greater effort is made by the government to win popular support, that the war can be won out there. In the final analysis, it's their war. They're the ones who have to win it or lose it. We can help them. We can give them equipment. We can send our men out there as advisors, but they have to win it, the people of Vietnam, against the communists. We're prepared to continue to assist them. But I don't think that the war can be won unless the people support the effort. And in my opinion, in the last 2 months, the government has gotten out of touch with the people. The repressions against the Buddhists, we felt, were very unwise. Now, all we can do is to make it very clear that we don't think this is the way to win. It's my hope that this will become increasingly obvious to the government, that they will take steps to try to bring back popular support for this very essential struggle.
Well, hasn't every indication from Saigon been that President Diem has no intention of changing his pattern?
If he doesn't change it, of course, that's his decision. He's been there 10 years. And as I say, he has carried this burden when he's been counted out on a number of occasions. Our best judgment is that he can't be successful on this basis. We hope that he comes to see that. But in the final analysis, it's the people and the government themselves who have to win or lose this struggle. All we can do is help, and we're making it very clear. But I don't agree with those who say we should withdraw. That'd be a great mistake.
That's amazing every time I see it. Every time I see it. This is the fourth time or so that I've seen that, and every time it sounds more and more like what Obama says today about Iraq and Syria and the Middle East. So I jotted down the talking points because these are exactly what they're saying today. And keep in mind as I'm giving you all this information, what do we call this? It's called mission creep. Well, you start out slow and you say, no, they're not ground troops. Silly. I know there's literally troops on the ground, but they're not ground troops. They're advisors. So what did he say? Number one is it's their war. It's not our war. Well, that's exactly what Obama said before he decided to commit to arming Syrian rebels and doing airstrikes in Syria and sending advisors into Iraq again. He said, it's their war. It's not our war. What we can do is we can send advisors. We can't fight the war for you, but we can send advisors. Meanwhile, the entire time they say, we're just sending advisors. What are they really doing? They're definitely sending ground troops to fight the war. That's what Kennedy was doing there when he says we're just sending advisors. Same thing with Obama today. Because Obama today is like, no, they're not ground troops. They're just troops on the ground. And keep in mind, originally it was, okay, we're just going to send 400 dudes there to help out the Shiites fighting the Sunni extremists. And then it became, send another 800 in there. And nobody's looking, send another 800. And then all of a sudden today it's 1,600. And people are still fucking, covering their eyes. Like, oh, what do you mean? There's no ground troops, even though there's ground troops. The Daily Beast had an article like, oh, really? They're just training people? Why is it that there's reports of them shooting at the enemy? That would be ground troops. And this is mission creep. You keep going up and up and up. And what happened in Vietnam when they did this exact same thing? It never stopped. It just kept going up. All the way up until JFK's death, Lyndon B. Johnson got in there and did the exact same thing and kept increasing and increasing, all the while doing the same talking points. It's their war. Okay, we'll send some advisors. We can assist them, but the war can't be won unless they want to win it. And meanwhile, the entire time they're saying this, we are increasing, we are increasing, we are fighting more, we are fighting more. The thing that's so amazing is even the minor details, there are correlations to today. So when he says, the Buddhist repression from Saigon, because that was a major political issue in Vietnam at the time, Saigon being, the central government in Vietnam. Oh, yeah, the Buddhist repression in Vietnam, that's been bad, and that's the cause of some of the strife and some of the fighting. That's exactly what we say about the Sunni repression in Iraq. How Maliki's Shiite government, which makes Shiites are about 60% of the population in Iraq, they were repressing the Sunnis. So one of the talking points you always hear in the U.S. today is, oh, the problem is that the Shiite repression from the Maliki government, they're just crushing these poor Kurds and these poor Sunnis, and that's what led to ISIS, and that's why there's such a problem today. And then at the very end, what did JFK do? He dropped the bomb on you, and he goes, but I don't agree with the people who say we should withdraw. Same thing they say today. They list all these different reasons why, oh, it's their war, oh, we can only send advisors, oh, woe is us, we can't do too much, all the while increasing the troop levels. So they pay lip service to this middle road, and then at the end they're just like, but we need to keep fighting. I mean, obviously we need to keep fighting. Well, no, we didn't. No, we didn't in Vietnam. Vietnam is widely understood as one of the dumbest fucking wars ever. I mean, think about the argument they made about Vietnam, where they said, oh, you guys don't understand. If we don't go in there and fight Vietnamese communists, they're going to be at your doorstep in Wyoming. Turns out that was a lie. That was a complete and utter lie. Well, the same thing is happening with ISIS. Now, understand something. Is ISIS a bigger problem than Vietnamese communists? Sure, you could say that. But is ISIS a bigger problem than Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, Ansar al-Sharia, Al-Nusra Front, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban? No. They're cut from the same mold, but we always get more and more involved. The same way that we escalated in Vietnam time and time again while hearing talking points like this, and we can look back now, and in the case of Vietnam, we go, oh my God, that was pathetically stupid. We just wasted young American men and women's lives. We just wasted them for no reason whatsoever. And we're making the exact same mistake today in Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan. And we're going to continue to make the same mistake while we hear the same recycled talking points from 1963.